Hello, hello, hello. It isn't doing much. Hello? Is that doing it?
Oh, it's on the city's website? Great.
Yeah. Well, please mention this in the Forester's report as well.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah.
It's 3:30. Should we get ourselves underway?
Let's do it. We got that now.
And do we have Yvette standing by?
I'm here.
So then, Yvette, can we go ahead
Sebastian,
and do...
can you flip to the cameras, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Can we go ahead and do a call to order and a roll call?
Commissioner Burling,
Here. If she said Burlington.
Vice Chair Myers,
Here.
Commissioner Sowers.
Here.
Thank you.
Well, then let's go ahead and stand up and for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get right into public appearances. Members of the public are entitled to speak on matters of municipal concern, not on the agenda during public appearances. Each person's comments shall be limited to 3 minutes or as otherwise established by the commission. Matters not appearing on commission's agenda will not receive action at this meeting, but may be referred to staff for a future meeting. Persons are not required to give their names, but it is helpful for speakers to state their names so that they may be identified in the minutes of the meeting. So with that, let me see. I see a hand. Ms. Lloyd?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
We can.
Good. My name is Cindy Lloyd. I would like to thank Public Works Department, the Forest Beach Commission, for the wonderful job of tree pruning that has gone on in the Central Business District. It has opened up the views not only of the beautiful hills south of Carmel, but it has certainly improved the health of the tree by thinning them out, or trees, and getting them away from encroaching upon buildings. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lloyd. Let's see. I have a hand. I don't have a name. Oh, where'd it go? There. Oh, Neil. How about you, Mr. Krause?
Hello, everybody. Sorry to bother you with this. I just wanted to request a change in the minutes. Our item is number 4. It was the split rail fence along the Ocean Avenue medians. And it basically, it seems okay, but I've always been under the impression that a motion should be stated word for word. Is that no longer the way we're doing it, or is, I thought we should just get the transcript for the motion into the minutes? Am I making something out of nothing here? Hello?
This is Yvette. What was not word for word?
It starts at 1 minute and 1 hour and 25 minutes and 23 seconds into the video. And it was the motion made related to the split rail fence. And it was just about 2 or 3 sentences. I can read it to you if you like.
It's okay, you don't have to read it, but I'll go back and look at it, and if it needs to be corrected, I need to confirm with our interim city clerk to see what the proper protocol is, but I believe that I put everything in there that was supposed to be in there, because the minutes do get approved by our public works director, and if there's something that needed to be added or taken away, he does look that over as well.
Okay, well, I have the motion anyway, right? So, okay. Sorry to waste your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public that would care to speak? Looking.
Yes, may I speak?
Someone over there.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, I see the phone number ending in last three digits of 258. Then if you'd like to go ahead and speak, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is Michael McWalters. And I think the last time I spoke to you, I had forwarded you an ordinance that my group, Golden Rectangle Citizens Committee, had put together for the wireless ordinance. We made a proposal. And yesterday, the outside attorney was showing us pictures of cell towers, 50-foot, 60-foot tall cell towers. They're decorated to look like trees. And I came across a picture of a tree next to a cell tower, and half the tree was dead, the other half was alive. And let me just go back to the beginning. So at the February 28th telecom meeting that City Council held, near the end of the meeting, Council Member Karen Ferlito said, why don't we just use other cities' ordinances to make ours, make it as restrictive as we can. So I came across an article that was dated October of last year, and Governor Newsom had signed AB 537, and it was to give an exemption for cell towers not being sited on firehouses because firemen were getting sick. And so I'm on the side where I want to keep Carmel looking like Carmel. My first trip to Carmel was 50 years ago to watch Jack Nicklaus play in the first U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. And literally, figuratively, and in every other way, Carmel now still looks like it did then. I'm one of those old timers that wants to keep it looking that way for my children and my grandchildren. And so I want to take Karen Ferlito's comment about making it as restrictive as possible. I want to see if we can do that. So the reason I'm calling you guys today is I need your help. The next Planning Commission meeting is July 13th, so we have some time. What I would like to be able to do is to present the Planning Commission with some more research, scientific research, that shows that cell tower radiation kills the urban forest. They damage the trees in the urban forest. So I'm going to ask you, and I don't want to put anything on you, but I have to believe that you're like I am. We love the trees, we love the forest, we love all the natural things about Carmel. It's the greatest meeting of land and sea, as Robert Louis Stevenson told us. And so I want to impress on all these decision makers the importance of, ideally, I don't want any cell towers. If we have to have them, they have to be brought before the Planning Commission, and we have to discuss it, talk about it, and vote on it. And if they vote to have one or two or three or whatever it is, that's fine. I would rather not, but I want them to be fully informed when they make the decision. So I'm going to send you guys an email with my contact information on it. And if you run across any articles, scientific articles that show cell tower radiation damaging / killing trees, please send them to me. I would really appreciate it. The last thing is my wife Jean and I are coming back into town in the next week. We want to know where we can sign the petition about the scenic road benches, because I've never had a problem getting a seat on the bench on Scenic Road. We have a place on Scenic, and we think we have enough benches on Scenic. Yes, we can have a difference of opinion on that. No problem. We can agree to disagree. But I need to know where we can go to sign the petition, please, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you very much for your comments. And just a note to as to where you can find the survey. You can find it right here in City Hall. So are there, or online, thank you. Yep, we'll actually if you stay with us for the meeting, there'll be a little more information as we review just where we are to date on the survey. So
I appreciate it. Thank
anyone
you
else
for all of your
on-
hard work. And
Anyone else online that would care to make a public appearance? Doesn't look like it. Looks like we have a member of our audience. Please, if you'd like to step up, thanks.
Hi, sir. Joan McGibbon representing Friends of Carmel Forest. I just have a quick announcement, and that is, well, Ramey's up in Ketchikan, Alaska, enjoying the scenery up there. But Friends of Carmel Forest is going to be hosting a tree walk this year on Saturday, July 2nd. And we are privileged to have the master arborist, Jason Sherrar, and he's with Canopy in Palo Alto. And he's a regular speaker at Canopy and holds a BA in urban forest management. And he's a board certified arborist and graduate of the Davie Institute of Tree Science. And we're going to have 2 1.5-hour walks starting at Devendorf Park, and they start at 10 a.m. So that's it. There will be a $20 charge for non-members of Friends of Carmel Forest, if that's appropriate. And we'll be posting it in the Pine Cone shortly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And it looks like that's it from the audience. So that being said, then we'll go ahead and close the public appearances and then step into announcements.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, our first announcement is the most important, and that is today is Commissioner Burling's birthday. So we could sing you happy birthday, or your present could be that we don't sing you happy birthday, which that'll probably be a better present. Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Depends if you sing like I do.
A couple other things. The City Council this week wanted to confirm that all the commissions want to continue to meet in person. We're all encouraged to meet in person. Our commission already does. We will continue with the hybrid for people outside who want to still zoom in, and that's fine. But just wanted to confirm the commission's still on board to do that. Sounds like you are. Next is we've replaced the panic buttons underneath the dais here. So if you see little white buttons between each 2 seats, if there is an emergency of some sort and you push the white button, it will immediately dispatch the police department to come here with the guns drawn. So hopefully, God forbid, that will ever need to happen, but just be aware that those exist. And the City Council this week appointed new people to various commissions and boards. Unfortunately, there was no appointee for the Forest and Beach Commission to replace Commissioner Cadell. So that position is reposted. If anyone's interested in applying, they're encouraged to talk to the city clerk, put in an application, and I think it's the mayor pro tem do interviews of all the potential candidates. But right now, as of right now, we don't have a 5th commissioner. And that's all the announcements I have.
Got it, thank you. Any other announcements? Nope. All right, then let's move on into the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are routine in nature and do not require discussion or independent action. Members of the commission or the public may ask that any items be considered individually for purposes of commission discussion and or for public comment. Unless that is done, one motion may be used to adopt all recommended actions. So on our agenda would be to approve the May 12th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I second that.
Someone like to make a motion?
I move we, well, is it on? I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I second that motion.
And then Yvette, could we get a roll call then?
Yes. Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Vice Chair Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Sowers.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is passed.
Okay, and then moving right along, orders of business. Orders of business are agenda items that require city council, board, or commission discussion, debate, direction to staff, and/or action. The first order of business today will be the discussion around the Forest Hill Park improvements, and I believe I'm going to hand that over to our forester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So today we're going to discuss Forest Hill Park. Forest Hill Park is here on the northeast side of town, and this purple line is the drainage that runs through town. So you can see it runs up there close to the park. That's where it starts. And the park is a much loved park. It has a public restroom in it, which is very accessible from the street. So what's happening is individuals are parking their cars at the top of the bank. They're running down the bank, hopping over the drainage, and then using the restroom. And this is causing erosion to that slope and is putting sediment into our storm drain and the channel. So you can see that here we've put down jute netting to try to hold the bank in place. We've planted some more vegetation. We've posted signage saying please don't use the bank as a slide, as well as a pathway on the bank. So what we're proposing is to add some fencing to the edge of the park here on that western edge, close to the playground entrance. So adding fencing from about first down to second. And the fencing would look identical to the existing fencing that's on the other side of the park. So split rail with 3 rungs, and hopefully that will deter the foot traffic and help with the erosion problem. Next, at Forest Hill Park, we have a play structure that was installed in 1996, and it is starting to rust, kind of from the inside out in many points, along the staircases, and along some of the play features. So you can see the rust and the corrosion on the bolts. So what we would like to do is potentially think about replacing the structure. Could be something new and modern. It could be more natural. Just we need to move forward with replacing that. The Carmel Youth Center uses the structure quite a bit, and I've tried to turn this off, and use it about 4,000 visits just from the Carmel Youth Center alone. So that, with additional neighborhood kids and grandkids, that play structure is much loved and it is very used. So we are hoping to go back to City Council, ask for a budget increase for the next capital improvement program, or assistance with fundraising for the a new play structure, or helping to find donations that could cover the cost of the new structure. So we visited the site. I think everyone's seen the erosion issue. Do you have any questions about the fence?
We'll cover the sign, the new
Oh,
sign.
sorry. Also, forgot the sign. There. We want to put up a sign that shows park rules, just to help parents and care providers to know that they are using the play structure at their own risk, and that their children need to be supervised, and just a couple other general park rules. So we like to install the sign as well. Okay, so.
Anybody from the commission have any questions about what our foresters presented? No? Then why don't we open it up for public comment? So I believe here in the chambers we've got a public comment to be made, but anyone online care to provide any comments regarding the Forest Hill Park improvements that are being discussed? I don't see anyone's hand up, so then I'll go ahead and invite our chamber guests.
Youth Center guest.
Sorry, chamber. I hear the chamber.
Oh. youth center in the chamber.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hi.
we're good.
Just put a couple of my facts. Okay. I wanted to thank you for inviting me on the tour today. Like you said, we take approximately 60 kids every day of camp to the Forest Hill Park for about 2.5 hours. We love that park. It is an extension of the youth center, and it is one of the kids' favorite activities. There are a few play structures at the park that I was mentioned during the tour that we do seem that the youth center has seen as not safe structures or outdated structures that could be of changed. We also really believe in play with our kids, and things of natural elements is something that we would highly advocate for, such as logs and different stumps of sorts to allow climbing, imaginative play. That gives you a park that's made for all ages, including infants learning to walk all the way up into ages such as the 12 to 14-year-olds that also attend the youth center. We think that there is an immediate need for the field area just because of potholes and such that are there. And we had talked about filling that with some leftover dirt or soil that the city might have. And then we do also embrace the idea of more fencing along the outside of the park. We look forward to working with Beach and Forestry on possibly being ideas of what the structures should look like. In my opinion, Carmel-by-the-Sea is a beautiful forest, and we have much to offer the community. Play is one of the biggest educational items for our youth, and we are doing a disservice if we do not invest in our youth. For mental health, physical health, our youth deserve it, and I know that the city and I know that the commission also believes in that, and I look forward to seeing the plans that come at play and welcome having our youth a part of that planning as well. So thank you for advocating for our kids and for allowing our input today.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Doesn't look like it, so why don't we go ahead and bring it back for additional discussion?
So I thank you for your overview and your need for the Forest Hill Park. I think our walkthrough today really helped myself get a vision of the need for some care to that park. It's given that it's one of the only parks in town for kids, at least the smaller kids, and as well as being close to the youth center. I think it really, whatever we could do short term, I think whether Public Works could get a backhoe in there and move some dirt around and maybe get some chips in there and make at least that field presentable in a fairly timely fashion, because obviously camp has begun, I'm assuming, and it'll be going all through summer. So anything we could do immediately would be helpful. I think the looking at the play structures, I think her comments about what's being used and not used, if something is really not used and is a safety issue, I think it should be, if not taken down, it should be cordoned off so it can't be used. And then again, some of the other structures that look like they have the damage, I think it would be great if we could look at some opportunity to fix that without having to go out and spend, or put a potential budget issue of 70 grand for a new play structure in there. Where I think some of the money could go into is, as it was mentioned to us, there are some climbing structures that could be provided, as well as maybe some natural things that could be put in that park that would be helpful to the kids and be beneficial educationally or not. But something that I think that we could move on fairly quickly, because I think the safety issues around some of those play structure areas that are rotting or showing rust is not a good safety issue for the kids, and that should be probably tasked on fairly rapidly if we could. So if that could happen, I think at least that would give us a go to look at things for the future and at least make it usable for the summer here. My 2 cents on it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think you did a great job of summarizing what we had talked about and what would be available or possible early. So I would agree.
Well, watching the commissioners go across the bridge and whatnot, I felt, even though they didn't make it down the slides, it felt as if the current structures remain intact, but there's no doubt there's some real problems, and I think that it would behoove us to make do the research necessary to determine whether or not those parts are replaceable and how quickly we can replace them. I didn't get a sense that they were unsafe, but that's probably not for us to evaluate. So I'm fully in support of updating the structures appropriately. I'm also definitely in support of the fencing around the portions of the park that we're seeing the erosion taking place and the social trails that are being made that aren't really very social. I think that in addressing some of the questions around at least one of the items in the park being maybe not or maybe unsafe, I kind of feel like there's some things that are age appropriate. And I think the kids that can actually reach up, like we saw our forester demonstrate and go across the slide, it's fun for those kids. And it might not be safe for a 5-year-old to be hoisted up and hold on. And I don't know the ages of those that had previously broken their arms, but I think sometimes, we do want a little bit of a balance, right? The infants to the 12 to 14-year-olds. And so I don't know necessarily if we need to remove or make something like cordoned off. I think perhaps maybe an age-appropriate sign might make sense. If you can't reach it, don't grab it. I don't know, something that's, when you go to Disneyland, you can go on some rides, you can't go on others, depending on how tall you are. I really like the notion around creating some sort of adventure educational trail within that property, I think, and that's obviously a little bit longer term, but boy, I think that's a lot of really unused real estate in there that could make it even a more attractive destination. And in the meantime, whatever we think is, Public Works thinks they can do to put the field that's there in a proper condition, usable condition, get rid of the potholes, chase away the wasps, whatever needs to be done, that sounds like that would make a lot of sense, knowing that we've got these camps just happening as we're speaking. So I think this is a great discussion, and I'm glad we're able to talk about it. What I think, Bob, have we given recommendations? Do we need to do anything? We don't really do anything formal in as it relates to it, correct?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chairman. Again, it was conducted tour of the park, which was done, received a report, which Sarah provided, and provide direction to staff, and I think you guys have done that very well. So this was not to vote on a specific play structure today, but we will be going forward with that field, look at what we can do in the field, and we will be going forward with installing that fence. Mm-hmm. And I confirmed that we do not need to go to the Planning Commission, so we can proceed with that fence pretty soon. And we'll be putting in the sign probably within a couple of weeks. So we'll do what we can in the meantime. Play structure, we'll continue to monitor it. We'll look at potentially fixing the parts that are rusted. And so we have some homework to do, but stand by. But I think we got really good comments back from the youth center and from the commission, so we know not only what to fix here and now, but also start looking ahead a few years of what this park could become.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So then we'll continue on with our orders of business. Looks like up next is...
So, Commissioner Myers?
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I could interrupt, is the person there that just gave the public comment, because she didn't say her name?
Did you care to...
Jessica Faddis. Faddis. The executive director of the youth center? Yes.
And we did encourage Jessica and her team to provide a list of what their suggestions would be for park improvement. I know she spoke to it, but hopefully that creative process will continue on, and she can hopefully want to share pictures of things that you and your team have found that might be new and interesting pieces that we can consider in the future. So we appreciate the opportunity to partner together on it. Okay.
Can I add one more point
Please.
before we close off this? I saw that Dale Burns on the line too. This might be another opportunity for Carmel Cares to put a peek in on this as well. I know they have interest in all the parks and what we're doing here. And Dale, if you could peruse that park and take a peek at it and see what you might have on your agenda as well, or whether that's even something you're interested in taking a peek at, it'd be great.
Yeah, I have done that several times. So, and I love the park. It's beautiful. And I'm sorry I didn't do this. I didn't know this was happening. I didn't get clued off. Shirley knew, but she forgot to tell me. I've been working on my map displays. So I really apologize. It's my screw up. But thank you for putting time into this. It's a wonderful topic. And we'd love to help as you see things that we might be able to do. And Bob, we could have that discussion in our meetings, or you guys could attend our meetings and maybe discuss it at one of our Friday status meetings.
Cool. Thank you.
So thank you.
Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our City Forester's monthly report for May of 2022. Back over to you, Forester Sarah.
Alrighty. We finished pruning downtown, so in upwards of 700 trees in total. Wow. I'm waiting for the final numbers on that. The intent really was to be able to provide street clearance for delivery trucks. We've had a couple cases where the delivery trucks are hitting trees and pulling them all the way over. Additionally, to raise the canopies on the trees above the sidewalks so that people aren't getting smacked in the face by tree branches and such. So we also pruned branches off of the buildings so that they were easier to maintain by the property owners. This last month, we had our CAL FIRE grant agreement for our master plan signed. So that's off and away, and now we can get started identifying a consultant to work on that plan for us. The Carmel Cares volunteers planted a bunch of new perennials and shrubs at Public Works, as well as the police plaza that's on the roof of Public Works needed a little sprucing up, so they helped out with that. I was away for a week at the International Society of Arboriculture's Western Chapter annual conference in Oakland, catching up on the current trends in the industry. I also visited one of the horticulture classes at the Monterey Peninsula College, talking about careers in horticulture. Let's see, next week we are hosting the Californian Urban and Community Forestry Advisory Committee here at the Sunset Center. That's a committee that advises CAL FIRE basically on urban forestry. So they'll be in town for 2 days. We've gotten the irrigation repairs at Vista Lobos and the scenic pathway underway. I'm told, I haven't verified this yet, but the scenic pathway irrigation fix is supposed to be done this week. And then we'll get to the
Is that the water line for the
yes.
water?
So there is a underground tank at the Del Mar parking lot that is filled with stormwater and natural spring water, and there's a very large pump system there. So we're able to utilize that water source for irrigation along the scenic pathway. The infrastructure is in place and is in good shape, but somehow the disconnect between the clock and turning that pump on went inactive in years past. So we've come up with a new technological fix that will be able to turn the pump on and run the irrigation on the rest of the pathway. So we'll be able to start doing some new plantings and that sort of thing. So we have free water and a way now to move that down the pathway.
Cool.
I'll go over the numbers before I get to the last item. Here's our typical report of what's going on in terms of removals and planting. Again, we're doing pretty well on our replacement percentage in terms of replanting, so that's good. Here we're planting, well, I'm requiring the planting of upper and lower trees at about the same rate. Again, we'll see that move up over the year as time progresses. This graph is exciting for me. You can see that we're able to make significant grounds in way of pruning trees. That's a big number of what happened primarily downtown. Also, our removals are trending down halfway through the year here, so that's a positive thing. So hopefully we can get that graph to get even higher. I think we're on par to beat the work that was done in 2013 for sure. Administrative tasks had a couple, well, fewer inspections, but we had more permits come in. And now on to the serious matter at hand. So the large landmark oak in Devendorf Park, the branch that extended over Ocean Avenue was struck by this delivery truck. It ripped the branch off and it was lodged between the cab and the tractor trailer. We extricated the branch from the truck with staff, and then our contractors happened to be working downtown and they were able to make the final cut. So here you can see the big branch where it was ripped off. We have had the tree appraised by an independent consultant, and the appraisal of that tree is $140,000, primarily because of its age, its size, and mostly because of its landmark nature, being the corner of the park. The damage came out to about $25,000, so we will be filing a claim with the driver's employer to recoup that amount of loss to the tree. And that is pretty much all of the forester's report. Any questions, comments?
Are there any questions from the commission regarding what was been presented? Forester, sir, I had one question as related to site assessments for the month of May. There were none?
Let's go back. Oh, correct. So that number is for planning. So that's when I have to go out and document all of the significant trees prior to any demolition or new construction. So I didn't process any in the month of May.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. And then let's see, if there's no other questions from the commission, then I'll open it up for public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would care to?
This is Dale. I have something regarding the irrigation.
Hi there, Dale. Happy to hear from you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we're finally getting to the finish line on this, I hope, at both Vista Lobos and Scenic Pathway. We've been working on it for 2 years now. I might add that it's not just the pump controller that we're putting in, which if that's really happening this week, that's a landmark thing for the city. It's also a new irrigation controller at 8th Avenue, which isn't put in yet. And I'm not even sure we've submitted the paperwork on that, Sarah. So that probably needs to be done because it's just a rat's nest there now. And also that cabinet doesn't even open at this point. And then although we know that the controllers work down the pathway, at least 4 of them, we're still going to we haven't actually turned on the irrigation system itself. We just tested the quick couplers. So there's going to be quite a bit of work probably to figure out, because some of them are in the middle of the pathway at this point. And so just to let you know, there's still a fair amount of work, but it's a big deal to to have that free water, especially nowadays. The city's very fortunate that they were foresighted enough to capture that water, and it's a lot of water. Sarah, I know we're not supposed to interact, but has the commission ever gone down there and seen a demonstration of that area?
That would be a part of the tour that we're planning of the
Okay,
scenic
good.
pathway, to include
Okay.
benches, irrigation, all that fun stuff.
Okay, that's great. That's going to be very exciting to them. So, and thank you for the city to fund that project. It's a big deal. That's it.
Thank you, Dale. Anyone else from the public care to make any comments regarding the forester's presentation?
Just one little extra tidbit on the irrigation system.
Oh, good.
We've gotten the first 7 zones to come on. We've replaced one valve, so we can get water basically all the way down to about 11th without any problems. So it won't be as much work as we initially thought.
Great, cool.
Got it, thanks. Did we have a tour date identified?
No.
No.
It was some date in the future. We were going to take a tour of the pathway. So I was putting a placeholder on July for that. But if you'd like it at a different time, I'm
July's great.
open to.
Does July work for you?
Well, I mean, that's a month away, so perhaps if you've got some dates when you're in town and you have an opportunity and you want to put it in front of the commission, there might be one that works for everyone sooner.
I think if I may, before we lock in a date, we want to be able to have the responses for the scenic bench survey, compiled so that the tour, we do the site tour, and then we come here and talk about the results of that survey. So if it's July, great, but let's not lock that in at this point.
Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and continue on with the orders of business. Looks like Public Works, our director's got his monthly report for May of 2022. Bob, so over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got 18 minutes. I'm gonna talk slowly.
Bob, I'm
No.
in control of the buzzer, so I can set the buzzer and the timer to make you stop talking.
Aren't you on vacation yet, Yvette?
In 23 minutes.
All right, okay. All right, let's get serious. Okay, so first, the city council actions related to forestry, parks, and beach issues. City council met this week on June the 2nd and June the 3rd. No, wait, June the 6th and June the 7th. Sorry about that. One park-related thing is at the Forest Theater, the council approved purchasing a $54,000 box truss over the Forest Theater stage. So they'll be able to do lighting. Right now, the Back Rep Theater is renting the truss system. We're going to be purchasing it, and they can use that for lighting, for sound, as well as for moving Mary Poppins or whatever theatrics back and forth across the stage. So that's good news. And the city council adopted the budget for the new fiscal year starting July 1st. In that budget, our administrative coordinator, who's a vet, who's been helping Public Works 25% of her time for the past year, will be coming full-time to Public Works, even though she'll be coming kicking and screaming and resisting. But we're definitely need her back in Public Works. We'll be able to open our building up since the first time since COVID started. So we're looking forward to that. So that's a big step in the right direction. And also in terms of the operating budget for Public Works as a whole went up a bit, but the big winner is Forestry, Parks, and Beach Division in Sarah's budget. Last year at this time, the budget was $354,000, and the adopted budget is $571,500. So that's a sizable increase, and I think it slightly eclipses the budget we had before COVID. So we're going in the right direction again. So that's it for the council. I'll talk more about it on the climate committee thing. Next is capital improvement projects. There's only one thing to report there. Oh, we have a consultant called Dudek that's doing environmental review and regulatory permit acquisitions for the 3 drainage projects in the Mission Trail Nature Preserve down by Rio Road, as well as the volunteer-sponsored Leolo pedestrian bridge, which is at the north end of the Doolittle Trail in the Nature Preserve. Okay, so we're making progress there. Update on the climate committee. So Anya Smartele, our environmental compliance manager, who was here last month, presented the climate adaptation plan and the climate action plan. She made this essentially the same presentation to the city council, and which included the comments received from the Planning Commission and the Forest and Beach Commission. Again, it was well received by the city council. They emphasized that it's not just a plan to sit on the shelves, it's a plan to be implemented. We asked the council 4 questions, but three of those 4 questions I think is appropriate to talk about here in this commission. In no particular order. The first question was, should the climate committee continue with overseeing the first main project, which is the coastal engineering report, which is part of our capital improvement program for next fiscal year? The answer was yes. So the climate committee will take Public Works will implement the project, but we'll be working with the climate committee to oversee that. And I know the Forest and Beach Commission also has a vested interest in that. So that's what direction from council on that. On the question as what funding sources will there be to implement all these many, many projects for many, many years? And the council made a commitment that, well, climate change is happening. These measures have to be implemented. They will be implemented, but it's going to be, obviously we can't just cut a check for doing it all at once, nor do we have the capacity. So over the years, some projects will be capital improvement projects funded through the capital improvement program process. Some will be, we'll seek out help from volunteers. We'll seek out grants. We might do assessment districts to fund some things. So we're going to have to use a variety pack of different funding sources to pay for these projects over the course of time as that happens. And then the most applicable one for this body is, the question was, should there be a new commission called the Sustainability Commission? The Climate Committee was tasked, I guess, for lack of a better word, to develop the climate adaptation plan and the climate action plan. That process is almost done, other than going back to the city council this was just a review, go back in a few months to bless the official document. Then the original intent of the committee essentially is done, other than to oversee that one project. So the question was, what about a sustainability commission to kind of see make sure there's some momentum over the decades of implementing these projects? The council was hesitant on that idea. What they suggested was that if there's a new design review board appointed to take over the design work that the Planning Commission currently oversees, then the Planning Commission would be the body, rather than a different new commission. The Planning Commission would be the body to oversee that. If the Design Review Board doesn't materialize, because it doesn't exist today, I don't think, if that doesn't happen, then the council said that the Forest and Beach Commission would be the body to oversee the climate committee or the climate action over the many, many, many years. So your workload could increase as well as mine.
That's a pretty big task. Remember, that was a meeting that we had a long, that's interesting.
So that's, again, this is preliminary stuff. We're phasing from a plan into implementation, and specifically how to implement this. There's so many questions, but that's kind of a big picture of what the council said the other night.
Right.
I think that's it for the climate action plan. Unless you have any questions. Update on the volunteer organizations. I think Sarah mentioned a few of those things. I don't think Sarah mentioned this, and I know Dale's on the phone. One of the community engagement programs from Carmel Cares is the pickup posse. So they've been around for a while. But now they have a new, like a subgroup called the Tag Team. The Tag Team was created to remove graffiti and stickers from public facilities as well as from private properties after knocking on someone's door and saying, hey, you got some stickers, can we take it off? So that's another element to the Carmel Cares umbrella, which is great. Sarah already talked about the police plaza and public works, so I won't go into that again. You didn't talk about map displays.
No, I did not.
Okay. So this has been an interesting project working with Carmel Cares. They rebuilt the map displays. We have 7 of them, I believe, throughout downtown. So all of the old ones have been now removed. I believe the new ones are going in. The first one that's already been in for a couple weeks now is the one on the southwest corner of Ocean and not San Carlos, no, Mission. Right adjacent to the tree that we just saw, the North Park tree. So right there in the corner, there's the first map display. If you look at it, it looks fantastic. So we really appreciate Carmel Cares doing that, and there can be nice similar ones at the other locations as well. So that's coming soon, if it's not already done. And miscellaneous. We have a new environmental programs administrative technician named Jessica Wico, who started on May 23rd. So if you read the Friday letter, you've noticed her. That gives Anya some much needed support. We interviewed administrative analyst candidates for the Forestry, Parks, and Beach Division. This person will be reporting to Sarah. This person, we're good to go. The start date is July the 1st, and when we get, maybe next month, I'll announce the name and bring the person to you. In fact, I think he's on the call. So I'll leave it at that. Let's see. We redistributed the sand flawlessly without any problems.
Great.
It went great. But seriously, there was a huge amount of volume of sand compared to the skip loaders that we have. So it did make, that makes a big difference. And finally, we have the 5 smokeless fire pits, quote-unquote smokeless fire pits south of 10th Avenue. Put them out in mid-May. We'll pick them up in mid-September. And for the most part, people continue to not use water to douse the flames, but to fill up the fire pits with sand, which is the wrong thing to do, even though it's well posted. And the sand becomes contaminated. The sand has to be all carried out with an ATV and hauled off the beach and sent to the dump. So unfortunately, people continue to this.
Should we put a sign by every lot, you think, that to remind people? Because I think some people think they're doing the right thing.
Right. There has been a lot of talk about starting all over on the signs because the signs are not working. I know Mr. Byrne has commented many times about there's information in various spots in our city's website that has conflicting information.
Yeah.
So it is a work in progress. My personal opinion is that people are not reading the signs. And in fact, on the fire pit bases in red, white, it says use water, wood only, use water only or something. And they probably tried to pry that off, except for strong epoxy, to burn that. So I think they burn any possible thing they can think of to burn. Unfortunately, it's still a problem to maintain them, but that's what's happening. So you should be aware of that. And that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commission? No? Let me go ahead and open it up to public comment then. Anyone from the public here to comment on the presentation that was just made?
I will.
Okay.
This is Dale.
Hello, Dale.
We put up 2 more map displays this morning. It was a really successful. Leo and Renee helped, and we can put one in about 10 to 15 minutes now. So we should have the rest of them up, except for the one at Sunset Center, which is a new map addition. And I still need Visit Carmel to make that map. They've been dragging their feet a little bit, but they've got a lot of things to do. So they'll be done, the 7 will be done by next Monday, I would think. So that's nice. Get that out of our hair. And we also installed, Bob, I think we missed in your report, marquees on the front of the trash enclosures. Was that there?
I think I mentioned that last month.
Okay, all right, good. I wasn't here. And those are all up, and the signs are up on a temporary basis. And I've communicated with Brandon about what our plans are for that, and he's happy with it. I had a nice meeting with Brandon this morning to go through a lot of things. And we've got a number of other projects that we're going to be submitting along with Public Works. And thank you, Public Works, for running interference on getting the permits. Commissioners, we have received formal permit approval, so it's all memorialized and in the file, so everything is taken care of, although we knew it was good. We've gone ahead to the next step, working with the Public Works team. And Brandon's very happy with that, and he's happy with all the work that's been done. So we've completed all those projects. We just have Martin Way, which we're submitting soon, and we're going to schedule it as soon as we can to increase the height of the walls there. I've been doing the stairway for Shirley every Wednesday, and that's maybe the worst one of all because there's only one stone, and the sand is probably a foot above the stone. So the sand is just flowing down onto it. So we're going to fix that. We have the stones we've already purchased, and the stonemason knows what to do. And I think Bob's team has been pretty happy with the work that's been done. It's very high quality. So, and there are a number of other projects, smaller ones that we're going to be working with Bob's team on and Brandon. So thank you for letting us move forward on all those projects. And I hope you guys like what's been done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Appreciate that. Anyone else from the public care to make a comment? Without seeing any hands go up.
Mr. Ford, would you want to introduce yourself, or you want to wait till next month?
Oh, sure, no problem. Hi, everyone. You were referring to me, correct, Bob?
You're the only Tom Ford on our screen here, yeah.
Certainly. Yes, my name's Tom Ford. Be a pleasure to work in the Public Works Department under Bob and Sarah. I look forward to meeting you all in person, and thank you for the time and the introduction there.
Thank you, Tom.
Commissioners, I forgot one thing, and it's rather important. I'd like to bring it up because it really impacts the beach and the sandstone on the beach. Could I have one more shot at it?
Let's have it. I think you had a minute 30 left there, Dale. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you. We've been having issues as part of the tag team. We've been having issues with people carving initials and other things into the sandstone. And I haven't figured out the correct way to do that. And we need to figure that out somehow, like do we grind it off and so on. But there's an especially bad case of it. Carmel High School graduation class dumped about, I don't know, 150 or 200 students off in front of our house here on San Antonio. And then they went down to the beach and had a big party. They were all sitting on the sandstone, which they probably shouldn't have done. But when they left, we discovered that night that they had carved Carmel 2022 and a number of other things and initials in that sandstone. They're fairly deep. So I don't know what the proper course of action is to turn that into the high school. They must have had teachers there observing it, but it's going to be a significant effort to take it off. And Bob, do we work with you on figuring out a proper way? I don't know if you grind it off, because we can't leave it there, because if we do, other people are now going and putting their initials in it. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to report that was a problem.
It'd be a good topic for our bi-weekly Friday morning meetings for sure. Okay. Grinding might be a problem because of the sensitive nature of the water.
Yeah. All right. So we're not touching it until we get clear direction, or else Public Works might want to do it themselves.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll close the public comments. We will. That wraps up our orders of business. Future agenda items.
Our tour of the scenic pathway. And right now we have one appeal for a tree removal permit. And that's all I have on the calendar for now.
Okay, thank you. And did you want to just quickly remind our listeners the ways in which they can access the survey?
Oh, correct. Let me bring that back up on the screen. So the survey is online. If you go to the city's website, it is in the upper right-hand corner of the site. Let me get you there real quick. There we are.
I need to talk to Google about
All
when I
right,
first
right
hit.
there at the top of the page, it says Scenic Pathway Bench Survey. Read more. Just click on that, and it takes you directly to the survey.
Great, thank you. And then it'll be available, of course, here in City Hall, as well as commissioners will be out and about.
I'll be on the beach Saturday morning from 8 to 11 on the Scenic Pathway, passing out the surveys and collecting those that want to turn it in at that point.
Great.
Great.
Thanks. Okay. Any other future agenda items?
Hopefully the survey results, possibly, as well as, further conversations about the benches.
Well, with that, then it looks like we can adjourn. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
That's great.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Happy
We had a
birthday,
minute
Sarah.
spare.
You're out of here on
Yeah, right on time. Thank you.